Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Sunday night Aquariums Anonymous live stream. My name is Adam, and I am addicted to fish and aquariums just like you. And I'll be your host this evening. Hopefully this night will go without any chaos with 3 guests and two cockatoos, but fingers crossed for that. Tonight's going to be a bit of a celebration of another aquarium store opening up. I think that's fantastic news because, you know, sometimes the reefing hobby can have its ups and downs. Sometimes there's a little bit of negativity that goes with a shop might close or, you know, the cost of things, rudder. So some positive vibes going through the hobby in Australia is fantastic, and I definitely think that's worth celebrating. So you may, well, I shouldn't say you may, you definitely will know tonight's main guest. Let's bring her on, and she can introduce herself. And where is Mariah? Where is Mariah? There's Mariah.
Hi, guys.
I've lost everyone.
Oh, my God, Adam, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited. Hello, everyone. I'm reading the comments on my phone.
I can't hear anything.
Me? Oh.
Paul can't hear anything.
Can everyone else hear me?
I can hear Ania, not Adam.
Okay. Well, I might say
Who can you hear, Ania?
to Ania and to Paul that are having some audio difficulties, I might say to log out and log back in. And this is really technical stuff here, isn't it? Everybody there, really technical. Can Paul and Ania see that?
Log out. Yeah.
Wait, now I can't.
Yeah.
The answer to everything.
While they're doing that, Mariah's logged out. Mariah's not supposed to log out. There we go. Everybody, technical difficulties. Tonight we have Mariah from Only Reefs, who is opening a aquarium store in Adelaide. Let's pop her back on. Mariah, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you all now. Oh, my God, what happened? I got so excited and I just dropped out.
Beautiful. Paul has entered himself twice at the stage. Paul, can you hear me?
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Let's remove Ania and see if Ania can hear me.
Now you're gone.
Yes, I can hear you. Hello.
Now,
can you hear me?
Beautiful. We're good.
Great.
Paul, I'm going to get, sorry that Paul's just having some more dramas. I'm just removing excess from the live stream. This is not very professional way I started this on my account. I'm sorry about that.
Sorry,
Paul,
guys. I bring the chaos.
That's okay. No sound. And I'm going to I'll remove Paul there. Okay. While we're doing that, Mariah, like I was saying, what is a celebration of you opening up an aquarium store? And the whole idea of getting Ania and Paul on tonight is to provide that support from a female reefer that's in the industry, and also a bit of a long-term legend in the local fish store world. Paul, can you hear us now?
Sure can.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So that's the whole concept behind tonight. But it doesn't want to all just be about the industry and about business. We want to get to know who you are so that people and future customers can sort of have a handle on who their local store owner will be. So what I'm going to do is, whilst I get you to just sort of give a who is Mariah background, I'm going to start a little poll. And the little poll is going to be, I'll show it on the screen now, just next to Paul. The audience there can vote. What would they like?
God, I love this.
Also,
hi, Nick.
Mariah's home reef tank, number 1. Number 2, an update on the Only Reefs shopfront progress. Or number 3, the online coral sales and website. So if you're going to vote for that in the comments, don't forget just to put the number and nothing else. Okay. Beautiful. I'm just going to hide that poll. Now, Mariah, who is Mariah?
Hi guys, I'm Mariah. So for those who don't know me, I'm down in South Australia, so I'm in Adelaide. I've been in the hobby for about, compared to you guys, not very long. It's been about 4 years. I started, honestly, this journey, as much as I love it, it all happened on accident, right? It's the first thing I tell anyone. If you told me 5 years ago I'd be in this spot today, I would laugh at you. So I started out basically, I used to be into like horses, right? I had a head injury, couldn't do the horse thing anymore. And my friend actually gifted me a marine tank. It was like a Red Sea with like the
I
chamber at the
can't hear
back.
Mariah.
Oh no. Can anyone else hear me?
I
I
can.
can
You
hear.
guys hear me?
I
You
can.
can
Yep.
hear me?
I
Well,
can
I'm
hear
just going to
you,
keep talking,
both
Ania.
you
I'm
gentlemen, but
sorry.
I can't hear Mariah. I don't know why. Should I log out?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry.
If everyone else hear me. Oh,
That's the
hi,
end.
Sam.
So you
Oh,
you had a
bless. So,
you had a head injury that prevented you from getting back on the horse's back, eh?
yeah, it literally, right? So then I was like, okay, what do I do now? I was studying animal science, which at the time was kind of crossing into like marine biology. So my friend gifted me a saltwater tank, and I had no idea what I was doing. I had discus at the time, right? Anyway, in that point of my life, my life changed a lot, and the hobby was a big distraction. So at the time, I was working support work. I then started working at a local shop here in Adelaide, just as like a general worker. And I so quickly fell in love with the saltwater side within a month. And also in Adelaide, right, the first thing I did know, actually, what really hooked me into the hobby, I must be honest, and I think it reflects a little bit on my business today, is like the American reefing side. So like Worldwide Corals, Top Shelf of Corals. Before I saw any of you guys, I feel like my Instagram was just full of like glitter bomb gonnies and Raja Rampage and Holy Grail acans and all that really cool stuff that we couldn't really, I never seen here because in Adelaide we don't have that.
Yeah. So that
Um, s-
sorry, just to
in
back up. This
Yeah,
was 4 years ago.
yeah, 4 years ago.
Wow.
So, so this was 2020, yeah, 2022,
Okay.
2022.
Yep.
Because in Adelaide, so I think now from what I see of it, Adelaide has grown a lot. The community has grown a lot. The community going back like 10 to 15 years ago was huge. But I think just when I entered the hobby, it was a bit quieter. The community in Adelaide was a bit quieter. And like you
Okay.
go into stores and you just see like not regular, I don't say regular coral, but like all like your wild pieces, there was no one really around propagating or collecting the more fancier pieces.
Yeah.
So then I started there and I started managing the saltwater section and I made so many beautiful friends and I learnt so much. And then I started, joined MAFA. Um, and then it wasn't probably till enter 2023 that I was like, wow, like this hobby is so much bigger than I ever knew. I went to Fragorama 2024. I met all you guys. Amazing, right? That definitely opened my head up to it too. At that point, I just had a display tank though. I never thought of propping anything. I really didn't think doing this as a business and dedicating my life to this was possible. I thought I could only do it if I worked for someone else who'd already started up.
Okay.
Anyway, and then that's when I started collecting my Gonny. And I think the Gonny for me, when I started posting those on Instagram, was something that brought me into maybe propagating is possible because I had so many people asking me for them, right? So then I brought my bandsaw in like 2025 and I started fragging. And then I really started putting love into like my Only Reefs Instagram. Also, am I frozen? No, you guys can see me.
Oh, you're good.
So yeah, 2025, I was still working at the local fish shop. I started doing my own thing. There's a little bit
That
of
was
conflict of
at
interest.
Seaview.
Yes, yes. So I started doing that. Seaview's a great shop, but it is probably a little bit more freshwater dedicated. The owner's really big into their fresh side.
Yeah.
So then I started selling locally. I think mid 2025 is when I registered Only Reefs as like a business. Because that's when I did my first like Fragorama, 2025 May, right? So that was my first ever like big trade. I remember I was petrified. Now pack up more corals on a Monday morning than I did going to Queensland, which is so crazy. So then end of 2025, I was like, no, I need to put my all into this. And one thing about me is when I get an idea in my brain, it won't leave. Okay. So I was like, no, if I don't do this now, I'm never going to do it. And what if someone else does it before me? Because Adelaide doesn't have a dedicated marine shop. Every other state, you guys have like 3 or 4. We got there's a beautiful friend of mine in Seaford. He sells Zoas out his carport, which is so cool. But all the other shops are more like freshwater stores with a hint of salt, you know.
Yeah.
So my dad, bless him, let me move into the lounge room, and I set up a frag system. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna leave this job. I went and got a job in finance. So out of my comfort zone, but I was like, no, I need to be out the industry to grow my own. And then, yeah, I just started and I launched my website February 13th because my mum yelled at me. She's like, 13's an unlucky number, but no unluckiness here.
Hang on,
I did
I'm
lots
going
of
to share your website. Here we are here. Can
There
you guys
we
see
are.
that?
Want a frag?
Want a frag?
Hope
Beautiful.
you're wearing your own again, Nick. Come on, look, we're on it. We're matching.
You've got some amazing photography on this website, by the way.
That's me and my TG7, which guys don't put in the fish tank unless the ports are closed. I learnt that the hard way.
So when did you start this website?
So that launched middle of February.
Wow. Okay. And you've been doing online sales from this website from coral that you've been fragging in your lounge room.
That's how it all started. Because of course, right, without having a shop front, you can't buy. Our wholesalers are beautiful and they support retailers. So I won't lie, I was in a little bit of a tough spot where I wanted to grow without having a shop front. I necessarily couldn't. Not that I couldn't, but I was just propagating everything. And I think over the years, like people would call me crazy because I would always have like coral rocking up the door. Like I was buying that much. And I'm just growing it and loving it and yeah, propping it.
Oh,
So
we found a trackie on the torch section.
yeah, I just noticed that. You're embarrassing me. Stop.
Oh, how much is this? Never mind.
That's nice.
You've got that's a great website. That's a really good website.
Thank you. So
All right.
yeah.
So how did you go from you've been in the hobby for 4 years, you're working casually at Seaview Aquarium, you tried working in finance, didn't suit you, you're expanding at home.
So wait, pause. So no, I left Seaview. I left Seaview back in December. I'm still working this job in finance that doesn't always connect. And I'm working the job in finance to fuel all this, right? So
Right.
Monday to Friday, I get dressed up in we refer to it as tidal gardens because I always feel like like suit, right? This job's so out of my league, but it's great. Okay, I've learned a lot. So January, I left the local fish shop. I got the new job. And all of that, so that all that income, all that craziness is gone into launching Only Reefs.
Okay.
Okay. And I did that because Adelaide, I feel like there's a big hole in the market for a saltwater shop in Adelaide. And I knew that if I didn't do it then, I might miss the chance. You know what I'm saying? It's like now or never.
Yeah.
So
someone was to get there before you.
Yeah, that didn't agree with me. I was like, no, we're doing it. Sign me up.
All right. Well, for everybody that's looking tonight, we've got, for starters, let's see where the poll has ended up. 71% want to see your home reef tank first. And then we're going to go to your store updates. So we've got, unfortunately, Mariah's not at home, so we can't do a run and gun view of her.
I was asked very nicely. I'm sorry.
But I do on Sam Parker's in the audience there, so I hope he won't mind me sharing a bit of his video when he toured Mariah's home reef tank. So we get Mariah to have a bit of a commentary on that, what might have changed, but also really importantly, we've got Paul and Ania. Where is Ania?
Ania.
We've got Paul and Ania here for a very specific reason, and that is to I guess to have a bit of a deep dive into the mind state of a fish store owner and what comes from someone that's new expectations and someone that's been over 3 decades in the industry and someone that's been through a few different stores, and just try and weave our way through that. So we're going to definitely get into all that. But Ania and Paul, if you guys are okay to be a little bit patient, we can have, shall we, since the audience has asked, shall we have a quick squeeze at a bit of Sam's video of your home tank? And I'm going to mute Sam because we want to hear you, not Sam. No offense, Sam. And you could maybe just talk us through what might have changed, what's different. Now, is that
so? Absolutely. And what I might do before we start, I just want you all to know that this, I don't want to say it was the tank in its prime because it's still doing great, but this is probably when I was pushing the limits the most, right? So like, as you can see, it's absolutely stocked in coral. Shortly after this, it not that it ever went bad, the tanks never skipped a beat, but I found that like things were just starting to grow into each other too much, etc. So yeah. But this is absolutely stocked. So basically what I had going on here is up the top I had SPS that I would frag, and that was going on all those racks. The Gonny, which is on the left-hand side, was my grow outs. Basically all the frag racks is the prop and the grow outs on the rocks.
okay? All right. And so is the tank is the display roughly the same, or have you made some big changes?
So these days, I'll try and find a photo and see if I can show you. So
Or have
these
you-
days, now that I've got my frags, so now that my frag system's more LPS, this tank is actually more SPS dominated. So same situation. I reckon on my Instagram, guys, I've got a lot more recent photos. So same situation, it's still very stocked up. But it's a lot more SPS now. So this I would say is my SPS system these days, and my other frag system's more LPS.
You haven't you haven't stolen all your LPS from that tank and chopped them all up, have you?
No. They're still growing. Come on. Also in the sump, I've got my Gonny. So this was it in 2023.
Okay.
That
All
photo.
right. All right. Beautiful.
It still looks fairly similar. I think actually what I have done is I've swapped over my hammers and my Gonnies. So there we go. There's my sump. Oh, this was when I took my reef mat out to fit more Gonny in.
I'll just rewind you a little bit. So you might be able to see underneath the tank there a little bit. Here we go.
Yeah. So the reef mat's back now. I don't think it's plugged in actually, but it's there.
So what corals have you found the most difficult to keep? You got a really stocked tank there, which means you've got a lot of different types of corals going on, species as well. Are you having issues and successes with certain ones rather than others?
Not necessarily, no. I think one thing I did in this point in time is I stuck to particular groups of corals. So like I didn't have many chalices, I didn't have many favias, lobos I didn't keep because they could get a bit stingy. It
Yep.
was mainly I would have scollies, which I collected, Bonnie, hammers, torches, and then my SPS at the top.
Okay.
I think at
So-
this point in time too, yeah, so you go.
I was just going to say, you've got a really large collection of Gonnies. And I was having a chat with my mate this afternoon about some Gonnies. What are you finding? Because you've got some great polyps extension, all the rest of it. What's your feeling on their health in the aquarium and the tricks?
Honestly, I find with stability, I've never had a problem with them. I do feed. I feed lots of like reef roots and stuff. I was actually a few weeks ago, Tidal Gardens launched a video where they said that Gonny can digest meaty foods, but they can't really digest amino acids. So I wonder if that's something, if often they're just not getting fed enough. I'm the first person to say my system isn't always perfect. I have swings. I forget to top up my RO bottle. Sometimes I leave the tank off for a few hours because I forget about it. Like you're buying coral from me, it's tank hardened, all right? I can assure you that.
And when you open your, let me just stop sharing there. when you open your store, do you think
Mm.
you'll have a reef tank at home?
Yes, but it might look a bit different. I don't want to say exactly what I'm doing with that tank yet. That tank might not stay there, but I will have my cade. I think that tank will stay there. Actually, I lie. Can I say that I'm just going to watch the silicon on it? Am I allowed to say that? Is that
You
bad?
can say whatever you
Anyway,
want.
it's an older Red Sea. That's all I'm
Yeah.
going to put out there. All right.
And the only reason I
But
asked that question is that I know
yeah,
that, for example, you've got a really you got a soft coral tank at home. You've done that, I think, initially because you felt like you wanted to have a tank at home, but you wanted one that was a bit less work. And Paul, I know that you've got a tank at home, a freshwater tank with white clouds and what was it?
Medaka.
Medaka.
I've got a whole bunch of Medaka species in my house.
That's so cool.
So it's almost like you guys have got a fair bit going on at work, and so you don't want to have a fair bit going on at home as well. I'm reading between the lines there.
yeah, I agree with that. I think so. My shop also, guys, and we'll get into this later. It's not the biggest thing in the world. I probably couldn't have gone any smaller. So I want to stay committed to the online world that I've created, and I want to keep supplying everyone online. I don't want to go, launch a shop in Adelaide and then forget about my beautiful online customers who have supported me all this way. And I also don't want to lose track of any of like my collector pieces, and I want to keep propagating and growing out. So I think at home, I will have more of like my grow outs and more of like my collector pieces. Any overflow from like my, coral orders, they can go at home too, and they can color up and sit. So like WA froggies, right? Something I love frog spawn, and I know that they always look best once you've cooked them for a few months. So I can have a section at home dedicated to that, and then I can bring that to the store.
Okay.
I think that would be a cool way to also, I can have, pieces that I'll just have online. So I might say if I've got two rare gonnies, one can go to the store, one can stay at home, and it can be online. Do you know what I mean? So I cater to both markets.
Sure.
I don't know if I would have a display at home, if that answers your question.
Yeah.
I think I would have my display at the shop.
Well,
Yeah.
okay. Well, let's bring that up then, because you showed me a little bit. You've sent me a little bit of footage, photos of amalgamated together. Let's see if I can pop those on. Here we go. Do you want to have?
Here's my balloons.
Do you want to give us? Can you guys all see that? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to give us a little talk through, Mariah, about what we're seeing here?
Okay, this is me. Sorry. All right. So what happened, guys? No one knew. So I secured this shop a few months ago, like April-ish. No one knew. I suck at keeping secrets. I'm so bad, but I wanted to keep this a surprise, and I like to make a scene. So I wanted to surprise everyone. So what I did is I had a very close circle of friends who knew about this shop. And I had a frag swap day in Adelaide, and I just gave people the address the day before. I said the suburb it was going to be in, which was Welland. I basically my only thing I wanted was I wanted the signage to be up. So we got the signage up a week earlier. Thank God that happened in time. And then I said to Adelaide, I was like, guys, we're doing like a social event, because Adelaide's social group is huge, but people don't always, get time to connect. So I was like, we're going to have a catch up, and we're going to have a frag swap, and gorgeous wholesalers donated all these raffle prizes. And then everyone rocked up, and it was like a party inside with the balloons, and they saw the signage, and that was the announcement that I'm opening up a shop. And at the same time, I scheduled a post on Facebook that went live. So that's what that is with my balloons. Any celebration, guys, you need balloons.
Of course. Now I've just been going through the chat while you've been introducing that, and
I'm trying to do that too. I want to talk. Yeah, please.
Jared and Sam both want to know where their shirts are.
As in don't kick me out the group chat.
As in your colleague.
You meant the submerged ones. Wait, what do you mean? Yeah, I'm yet to get my step right, Jared. I'm sorry. Oh shit, ganging up on me, guys.
All right, let me press play, and then we'll keep on going through our little slides. So that's your opening.
Yeah.
Well,
that's
your
my
opening.
Friends.
That's your
Yes. So that's the announcement.
Yep.
That's me and my sign. Welcome to Only Reefs. That's the party. With the water box tank we set up. That's it getting painted. So as for fit out's gonna happen very quickly, very soon. I'll get into that later, but we're painting here. That wall's gonna turn pink, by the way. But anyway.
So I wasn't sure if this photo came before the party or after the party.
Yeah, that's before the party.
Right.
All
So
of
I'm
this
back.
is before the party. The party's kind of happened, and I've had a breather. Not really a breather, but nothing else happened since the party. This is prior. So this is like, oh, that's Hashan from Oz Aquariums who were measuring up my display, and I was swatching the color pinks on the wall. He came to surprise me in Adelaide. I think that was Easter weekend.
So that's the wall when you walk through I'll just go backwards.
Yeah.
When you go through those doors, that wall that's in front of you will be your display.
Yes.
And I've got a feeling, when you press play, that your display, I've got to think the picture you sent me is going to be that one.
Oh yeah, look at that. So this shop, right, is smaller, guys. And I was like, how do I conserve space the best? So that is going to go behind that wall. We're going to cut out a hole so you can see the front of it.
Yep.
And what also is happening, I have so everything that goes into this will be quarantined, FYI. I've got another propagation system that's also 2.5 meters long coming, which I think I sent you a photo of as well, Adam.
Yes, but we'll get there.
Okay, sorry. So we're going to have a sump underneath that display, and then a prop system's going to be connected to. So it's all going to be one big system.
Okay, so on that, Paul, we talked last week about the importance of displays in a retail store, mate. What are your just to reiterate for people out there, what's your thoughts on the importance of? Some people say it's wasted space. Some people get the irks because they can't buy things from the display, But it's certainly it's a way to showcase and to inspire people that come through the doors.
Yeah, so I've been exposed to various, studies and various at the end of the day, I believe, and from the information that I've sort of gathered over the years, that I think the single most important thing to get new customers is to have displays that people can imagine in their own home.
Yeah.
And so that's not a display amongst a rack. That's not a display that that someone can't look at and think that looks good, that would be good at my house. So in various polls and stuff that I've had access to, the single most important thing that makes someone actually decide to actually buy an aquarium is they are in an aquarium shop looking at a tank that they can imagine at home. So I think you should have a small, medium and large display tank. And I think it needs to be the one in the wall is cool because some people actually want aquariums in the wall. We've got one behind our counter at the shop. And the target is you do a small, a medium and a large. And it's got to be so someone goes, I could see that on my kitchen counter, or I could see that in my wall, or I could see that in my lounge room. I think it's super important.
Actually, Ania, I was going to ask, you guys do a lot of installations, and I've seen some pretty fancy jobs going on. Do you do any ones where you've got the tanks that are put into the wall like that, where it almost becomes, it might be a kitchen not a splashback, but it's in the kitchen or the dining or something like that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very popular request, especially, in those modern new homes, people are doing, designing their dream house. And we have our dry stock manager, Brandon, his main role is to coordinate those kind of bigger, large scale installations and, sort out all the quotations. That part of the business is really not my forte. So I'm just so grateful that we have that sort of specialist, that role delegated. When you're a hobbyist with an aquarium store, you have your hands wet all the time. So we call them wet hand jobs. So like I do the wet hand jobs and B does the dry hand jobs. That is just, you can't, it's very hard to do both at the same time.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm going to have trouble forgetting that.
Wet hand jobs.
We've got one coming up that's the largest one we've ever done, actually, and I'm really looking forward to kind of divulging a bit more information about that one. It's huge, and I think the gentleman got the initial quote about 8 years ago, and just with builders, and his house is been delayed and stuff. But I really look forward to presenting that one. I hope Cameron finds a way to share that with people, because it's huge. I don't even know. Is it 4 meters, 5 meters, 6 meters? I don't know, but it's really tall, really big, and it'll be pretty amazing.
Wow. So
Right, I think it's a great idea. Go big, go home on your display. And that was Cameron's initial idea with the Wynnum store. We only just kind of got together right when he was when that was all happening, and so let's say the Wynnum store cost $100,000 to set up. He put $40,000 into the display tank, and I think that really helped many times. Over, people would come in, small little reefing store, and just see this 2-pack white cabinet, all the bells and whistles. The peninsula was also very striking. And we did numerous quotes based off that display tank. So I think that's great.
Mariah,
Such a good point.
just in front of the tank that's in the wall there, is that where you're going to have your checkout counter kind of situation, or what's the plan there?
No, that's another fish tank. So I love what you just said. I love actually, Paul and Ania, what you both said is such good valid points. I like how you said wet hand job and dry hand jobs. I'm not going to have a whole staff front, right? I'm starting this just me, and I got some gorgeous friends who are helping me any chance they can. So my ideas was, so also I should also mention this shop is going to be very livestock focused. I'm putting tanks wherever I can fit them. All right. So that's the display and the idea. And I agree. And initially I wasn't going to go a custom display. I was going to do something that I guess people can buy. So that blue square there, I've got a water box there, and that's going to be a Goniapora dedicated display. So my friend Adrian has done this awesome branching scape. I'm so excited, and we're going to fill that up with Goni. With the big display, it's going to be, so that's the frag system. So that's going to be nice and shallow. Oh, there's Adrian building the water box.
Oh, there's Adrian building the water box.
Yeah, there's Adrian. He's also sitting about 5 meters from me watching this on the TV, so I can see everyone.
You're going to get distracted. So is this a mock-up of your coral retail tanks?
So this tank here is just propagation. Initially, I might have to put some wild stock in it, but the idea behind this is I want to have grow out pieces at the back, and what I frag from will be for sale in the front. So like imagine that filled with every type of SPS you can think of, mother colony at the back and frags at the front, so that when people buy, they know exactly what they're buying. They can see the colony at the back.
Yep.
And then they can look at it in the display, and they can kind of envision it in their own aquarium at home.
You don't feel like you'll run out of room with a colony at the back and having enough pieces at the front there?
I'll cut off at that much. It might not be a colony, guys. It might just be a large frag, let's be honest.
And how many? So who's making the tanks, and how many of these tanks are you going to be putting into the premises?
So at the moment, they're being made overseas. If I'm honest with you, my beautiful friend in Melbourne's helped me design them. I don't actually know where they're being made. I do know that they're a week from landing in Adelaide, and I am so excited, so scared. At the moment, all I've properly secured is that display and the prop system, or the frag system that's going to be hooked up to it, and then 2 fish systems, which I'll talk about in a sec. And then we're also going to have a selling system in the center of the shop, which hasn't yet been properly finalized, but the idea long term is that central system that's going to be in the middle of my shop is going to be for wild stock.
So that's going to be one of
in the center.
That one.
No, that one's going to be against the wall, hooked up to the display tank.
Right.
So that's my propagation system.
Okay.
All right. The central system hasn't. We're going to get this tank in, and then I'm going to measure how much room I've got left properly.
Okay.
And that will be like for wild stock. So bringing in a little bit of coral quarantine, I can separate things,
All right.
which I'm
And you,
excited for.
so that's going to be a Gonny display. And now, what were these
Mhm.
smaller racks you got set up here for?
These are my fish systems.
Right. Gotcha.
So I've got 4 of those. So 2 of those for larger fish. Which Adelaide actually doesn't have a whole lot of larger fish tanks. I feel like most of the fish that our customers buy are like juvenile to medium. So I didn't feel the need to cater for super large like predator fish. So the largest tank is that top one there, 4 foot. And then I think the next photo
Let me.
is another smaller system, which I'll use for juvenile fish and also inverts. There we go. So the reason I designed that is to separate fish so they get less stressed. The sumps at the bottom. So I didn't want to have one giant fish system just for quarantine, and also some things want to be medicated, some don't. I'm going to have separate quarantine tanks out the back, but I don't know if I can confidently say that everything that comes in will be like quarantined out the back just because of space. So I want to do as much as I can in the shop. Oh, there's me and Sam.
I think that might have been when you were opening up your website.
That was my website launch that I got to do in Melbourne. How cool was that? Also, I'm just going through the comments as much as I can. The due date for the shop, Ross. So many people from interstate want to come and see, which is so exciting. I'm planning for like an end of October. I don't want to call it soft launch because I like to make a scene, but like I'll open it up to Adelaide. And then I'm going to do a larger grand opening party for everyone interstate who wants to come, but that will be set once my tanks are in. I don't want to go make a date and the tanks get delayed again or something,
Yeah.
as soon as possible.
I personally am still waiting for Anya's party.
It's happening.
Well,
It's happening, mate. We're doing it. Probably just got to wait for Reeftopia's birthday party, and then just sometime after that. We're this close to working out when soon.
in between my party and Reeftopia's. What's that?
Just seeing delays. This happens.
Beginning of October.
Let me ask a question. This is just some informal questions. We're going to get to our serious questions a little bit later on, Mariah. Don't worry about that. But coming from, I guess, from Paul and from Ania at the start, and then and also Mariah, we'll get at the end. What do you think would be some of the biggest, I guess, hurdles that are brand new? I mean, this could be said for business in any side, but in particular about an aquarium store. What do you think is some of the bigger hurdles that someone needs to sort of jump through when they're starting an LFS?
My sticky tape broke.
I reckon estimating the cost is a big thing, because a lot of people, to the tune of like half, tend to underestimate how much the shop really costs. And getting an idea of how much it costs to start versus how much it costs to run is also like a really big factor. And also, when you get your business started, making sure that you're putting money aside regularly enough for things like tax and things like insurances and so forth. And locking in your rent for as long as you can, because the biggest reason why shops close these days is their rent just keeps going up and up. So having enough money in the bank to see the business through until it's actually profitable is a big thing. But her starting as just herself is actually really great, because when you start bringing in staff, that's when it gets really serious.
The staff that cost the most, and I think something that really shone through when we started Gallery Aquatica was the walk-ins were all like, "Do you have fighter fish? Have you got something for my pond?" And reefing is such a niche hobby, right? And I understand that fortunately you have the online is supporting you already. And so that's something that, Gallery Aquatica certainly didn't have. But for the first few months, we were just adamant that like we just wanted to show the world propagated coral. No one sold frags in Brisbane at the time. We wanted to, promote sustainable reefing, and we just sort of stuck to our guns. kept wanting to do Australian fish, because they're sustainably collected and certified so, and you get the doubt, but you got to just stick to your, I think, and you get so many like, is that alive? Like, or is it a plant? Of the walk-ins, and just not to be disheartened by that or discouraged at all by that. But I think the first thing that popped up in my mind about us is just not overspending on your budget. If this made this much, that's probably what you should spend the week coming, and to just be really willing to not pay yourself or accept any kind of profitability, because just keep putting the money in, and that I think is Cameron deals with all the money side of Gallery Aquatica, not me at all. I'm just told what I can spend when I do the livestock ordering. And of course, I want to buy all the things, but I think that's part of our success. Like, we aren't bankrupt because Cameron is so particular about the allowance of, like, if we made this much, that's what we should be spending, not like go nuts because they've got cool stuff this week. So that's really hard as a hobbyist to like just reel it in. But I advise to like try to reel it in.
Mariah,
What
you,
are
you
your
were
hours going to be, Mariah?
Hey,
What are your hours going to be? Opening hours.
well, so, and on that, Ania, too. So, what I'm doing right now, guys, this business is my world, right? As I said earlier, I work a job out the industry in finance, and that's helping grow my business. I'm going to try and keep that for as long as I can manage it
Good idea.
without it taking over my business, because that's like my goal, right? Everything I'm doing is to fund Only Reefs. If this job in finance starts to limit that, then I'm going to have to make that sacrifice. But at the moment, and I've spoken to lots of Adelaide people, and I've put polls up, and everyone's like, we shop on weekends, right? I said, if I open Thursday, Friday, would you come in? We finish work at 5. So for the start, I'm just going to be open on weekends, and then during the week by appointment. And that might be, and then I might go to like a Friday night, so everyone finishes work at 5. I might open from 5 till 7. I'm just going to play the field as it happens. I'll keep asking people, what do you use well? And basically, I'm in Adelaide's hands. Whatever they want, I'll do. But for now, it might just be, especially at the beginning, while I'm still getting set up, Saturday, Sunday. And that gives me
That'll be a
time during
lot
the
less
week.
stress. That'll be a lot less stress if you've got a good income coming in, and then
Yeah.
that'll allow you to
And
sort of keep your passion. Because the other thing is that you got to be aware of is that burnout is all good until it happens, and obviously, you're still young, and then keeping your other job will reduce the pressure of the business having to pay quickly,
What you
but but at the same time, you just got to be really conscious about your social life and all that too. Obviously, with balance.
yeah, of course. And at the moment, it's like, because I love this so much, I give them all, like, I'm up at 4 a.m. I go to my office. Up at 4, I pack my orders, I go to the office job, and then I come home and I like maintain the tanks. That might look a bit different when I've got tanks to maintain at the shops too, but I'm just going to keep giving it my everything for as long as I can. Um, and also too, like, I don't ever want to take away from the presence of the shop. So if opening Saturday, Sunday means that Monday night I do water changes at home, Tuesday night I do water change on the fish system, I propagate on a Wednesday, whatever, however that schedule looks, and then I'll open up on a Saturday and everything's healthy and clean and everything's happy. I'd rather do that than be open all week and be talking with customers and not putting back into the shop either.
It sounds like a good plan to me.
Thank
is the
you.
finance job a 5 day a week?
Yeah, but, and I don't know how much I can say, it's got high security around it. I'm working from home as of now, which means I sit up at my office, which means I sit and I talk to customers in my finance job, and I can look at my shop without saying too much, which is so cool.
you meant, I'm with you.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know
um,
how I landed that, guys. My life's like a roller coaster. I feel like it's a movie. Like, I wake up each day and I'm like, am I really doing this? Yeah, we're doing this. All right, let's go.
Mariah, you mentioned before that your shop's going to be really livestock heavy, and obviously there's a limit to size and what stock you can have. So I guess I'm wondering what, as a broad collective there, you guys think about what's the most important thing that will allow for the success of a shop. Is it the fact that you've got a good range of good livestock? Is it that there's a good range of dry goods? Is it that the prices are cheap? Or is it because the staff there are fantastic? Like, what's the weight there, do you think, in terms of what's the most important? If you had to flick a couple of those things, what would you flick, in preference of the other? Ania?
I think it's important to have a point of difference.
Excellent.
I think that the number one reason we're still here is diversifying. When we were faced with COVID, everything was so uncertain. We didn't even know, but with us in particular, when it's bad weather, we can't get anything from the collectors. We have propagated frag, and I can frag more the week that I'm not spending 6 hours unpacking an order. And so just having that diversity really helps. It's really hard if you're owner operated as one person to diversify. Like Mariah can't really install a 6-foot aquarium, at this point. So it's kind of hard. Like, we make money out of delivering seawater. Sometimes the seawater is doing great and the retail's not so great, but somewhere we get that balance. I think with Mariah, your key points are how passionate you are and how enthusiastic and vivacious you are, and it's infectious. Your enthusiasm is so infectious, and people just vibe off that. And that, like, that is lost with certain LFS these days. The older the people are just tired or whatever, and they forgot the passion, and I think passion will sell it every day of the week. So I think that's great.
Paul, what's your thoughts, mate, on that, on the balance?
I think one thing that I'd be aware of, as far as my experience is concerned, is you can't try to be the best and try to be cheap. So I think you've sort of got to be one or the other. And as far as my shop's concerned, I try to keep my shop pristine all the time. Like, there's no ladders to trip over. There's no boxes that are getting unpacked. There's no, like, I try to make sure that the shop is as neat and clean and well kept as possible. And I find that when my shop's in very good condition, you can charge a little bit more, because I think that people respect your prices when they see that you're respecting your shop. But then let's say that let's say I've had some staff away and the shop's not in peak condition. There's maybe some tanks that look like they need a clean. Maybe there's some boxes that haven't been unpacked. I find that, to me, it feels like there's a real correlation between when people are haggling and asking for discounts and so forth, and how good your shop is. So if you try and keep your shop in peak condition, there actually really is a cost for that, to keep it peak. I really don't believe that you can try and come in and create a really, like, a David Jones like experience, but then also try to be cheap, because I think it just doesn't add up. So I just decide where you want to be, and with a beautiful little shop like that, I think that creating a pristine experience, or I'd say a majestic experience, I would be I would be trying to make your shop as smick as possible, but just don't undersell yourself. And a lot of the time, where you start's where you finish. So be careful not to come in and just have super cheap prices, because then you attract super cheap customers. And so, and then when you understand your costs and you understand your running costs, and you put the right prices on your products that are actually sustainable, because you've got to get how much it really costs to run the business, and you might be shocked how much that actually is, particularly once you get staff. So I guess I just decide where you want to be in the market, and just from day one, if you want to be pristine. You want to be like, so the shop is just absolutely beautiful to work on. Don't undersell yourself. Like, you know, you've got to put prices on those items that is sustainable, because it's really easy for shops to start off and they're really cheap, and then they attract a cheap customer base. But then as soon as you start putting your prices up, it's like those people get offended. So yeah, I would really make your shop as good as you possibly can, and make sure you're charging sustainably.
Absolutely, guys. Thank you.
Mariah, do you intend to sell a lot of dry goods? And I guess I'll go further to ask guys is that we now, and I was going to touch on something that's about online, which we can get to in a sec. But I guess we all know that the online retail stores that don't have a shop front are competitive when it comes to pricing, and a lot of people will buy from them. And I think a lot of retail stores over the years may have questioned if it's worth it. You know, are having these lights and these pumps and all this money tied up, is it worth it? Is there a way of not necessarily having all that inventory in your store, but having access to order it specifically for customers, so you don't have to carry that burden? Is that a thing? And also, yeah, back to the original question, Mariah, what are your thoughts on hard goods?
Yeah. So I'm sure with the second part of that question, Ania and Paul can probably comment more on that than I can. But I believe to have the dealership, you do have to stock a particular range of products in the shop front. If I'm honest with you, I think, yeah, those online, well, not wholesalers, but those online stores who are focused on dry goods do make it quite competitive for, say, me, who's like a small retail shop, to compete with those price points. But
Yeah.
also, I think going into this and looking at what, Adelaide is, I feel like Adelaide lacks a lot of marine livestock. I want the livestock to be my priority. I want like abundance of it. I want everything healthy, everything beautiful. As for dry goods, I'll stock what people require. And I want to stock a really cool range of those products. So like salts, consumables, foods, have a nice range of like cultured phytoplanktons and pods. I'll stock your lights and your skimmers, but there will be a smaller range of those because everyone comes in wanting something different.
So is there a specific
and
brand or two brands or three brands that you're making a relationship with that you will be, specifically, I'll deal with AI and I'll deal with
yeah.
Delua, for example?
Yeah, so I've spoken to Sea Torch. I've got to have some stuff coming over the next month, and I'm so excited for that. Other than that, I think I'm going to probably, honestly, have my tank set up. That's my first priority, and then I'll investigate that side of the market. I'm not sure yet, to be honest.
Okay.
One other
Yeah.
thing too, I'd say, Mariah, too, is that don't get tied up with what you think versus what you test.
Yeah.
Because like a lot
Yeah,
of the time,
exactly.
like I'll be like, oh, there's no way we could charge more than that, or you think various things, but until you try it, don't get tied up thinking that you're right about stuff, because like for example, you'll think this certain thing has to be done a certain way, but then when you try it a different way, you got to look at what's actually getting the results. And the other, and also be careful with people like me, for example, telling you what to do, because the thing is that everyone's got their like, I can tell you really confidently my experience in my shop, but that absolutely might not be yours. And so my advice is try things, and if they work, keep doing it, and if they don't work, try something else. And you can, you just got to test and measure it everywhere you can.
Yeah, exactly. And one thing I will do, like when I say like I won't be stocking a huge range of dry goods, I'm still gonna have quite a few display tanks that are gonna run all those different products. So a customer can come in, they can look at that and they're like, yeah, can we see, an XR30 in comparison to AI, and I can show them that difference and then they can help decide their purchase. Yeah.
All right. Quick question for you, Mariah. What is the reef scene like in Adelaide?
Yeah, so The community, amazing. So we've got two cool, really great groups, Adelaide Reef and Marine and a Classifieds group. I feel like over the past year, it's grown a lot. I think going back like 10 years ago, there was a great circle and lots of really cool like SPS dominated tanks around. It kind of dwindled off, but it's definitely come back. Also, hi, Jono. Jono's in the comments. He's one of my Adelaide friends. Um, yeah, so great community. As for the shops, all of our local fish shops are kind of freshwater shops that have a marine section. If you
Yeah.
know what I mean.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for this, and it's kind of what pushed me to make the decision as quick as I did. I'm gonna be the first, well, not the first, there was one a few years ago. Well, going back like 10, 15. Now they have freshwater too. I'm gonna be for now the only saltwater dedicated shop, which is so exciting for me. I'm
Have you
excited to bring it to everyone.
have you done the rounds with the other stores in Adelaide and just sort of said, like, are you in a situation where they'll refer customers to you rather than trying to keep them for themselves when they don't really specialize in marine?
Yeah, well, they all have the section, right? And they all have their loyal customers. And I don't want to come into this trying to take anyone's business. I want to grow it. Like my logo on the side of the road, I'm on a busy main road. That's so many people driving past going, what is this reef shop? Why is this shop blue? Come in and, get new customers into the city. I just want to grow the hobby. I don't want to compete. Without saying names, majority of the shops who I didn't have a close relationship with before have been so supportive. Like Catalina Aquariums, Johnny, everyone knows him in Adelaide. He's a legend. He's been so great. Marine Plus, they're in Lonsdale. They started with a saltwater shop and now they've grown into freshwater. They like shared my announcement. Majority of the shops, yeah, so supportive and exciting. And we're all here to grow the industry, right? So the more the merrier, most people
Well,
would say.
ultimately, the more customers that are in a locality, the more successful all the shops are.
Yeah, exactly. And like
Yeah.
doing like your social nights, like even the frag swap announcement party I did, people didn't just come and see me. They went to two shops prior and then they went to one after and they made a whole day out of it. And the
Yeah.
more relationships that are built, the more chance there are of people saying, let's all meet up and let's go on a local fish shop crawl, which before would never happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it changes the scene. Yeah.
Right now, Mariah, because I have to be cognizant of Mariah's this evening because she has to get up and work early. So this can't be
I know, I gave him a time frame.
very difficult. This can't be a 4.5 hour Paul Talbot.
I'm old, guys.
But I want to interrupt this general local fish store conversation with something that I like to call, where is it? Mariah,
Yeah.
every business has a brand, something that it's known for. What do you want Only Reefs to be known for?
Oh my God. The healthiest coral, reliable. So I don't want, yeah, I guess reliable service. I want to be someone who anyone can come and ask any question. I'll give them like an honest answer, right? I'm here for people, not just to make $1. The most gonny. Oh God.
Well, that'll work. That's good. All right. Now,
What do you have?
Prettiest nails.
you very clearly love coral, but
And
loving
fish. Don't forget the fish.
I forget fish, but loving coral is something that's very different to running a coral business. Let me get this question correct. Which side of Mariah do you think will be stronger? The coral addict or the businesswoman?
Notice how I've got to get up at 4 a.m. to go work in that finance job, that secure job. And then notice how on Thursday I'm going to post some new like master scholarly or something that I didn't need. I'm just going to leave it at it's enough. I think the business side of Mariah is definitely growing. I do get a few crazy looks from friends sometimes when I've rocked up with like a queen angel or something I didn't need. I guess it's all, yeah. I've never done anything like this before, right? So it has been, actually, that's a really good point. It has been like going from hobbyist to business. Like, I've got to be that adult in my head. Like, I always give suppliers a budget and then they go over budget. And then I say, it's okay, I'm my own boss. Like, that's so dangerous. That
Yeah.
is so silly. I'm going to be honest. Yeah, the coral person's definitely stronger. But there is like an angel on my shoulder.
Well, we might ask after we finish this one last question. One last
All
question.
right.
One last question in hard chat. We might ask for Paul and Anya's thoughts on that specific question. But the last question is, Mariah, what is part of your personality that will help you the most as a store owner? And conversely, which part of your personality might get you into trouble?
I'm crazy.
And
So
we'll
like,
start with what will help you. What part of your personality will help you?
yeah, being crazy. So like once I get something in my head, it will not go out. And like I'll, like I said, wake up 4 a.m. and I will work all day because this is like a vision that I have and that has to be achieved.
Okay.
Right.
And
I
which
guess
part will
passionate
get
is a
you
better
into
word.
trouble? Which part of your
Yeah,
personality might get you into trouble?
the same. I'm crazy.
I
So
thought you might say that.
yeah, I'm very spontaneous. So that is something that I need to like, that like I said, the angel on my shoulder has to speak a little bit louder sometimes.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Like,
now
yeah,
that was
yeah.
quite easy. So that wasn't so hard, was it? But Paul and
Thank
Ania,
you.
what do you think in regards to that second question, where you guys have come into the world of being a business person because you have a passion for aquatics? Now you are a business person in aquatics. How do you balance what is the hobby to what is the business? How do you make it not weigh, not become emotional in your decisions, all that sort of stuff? Anya, do you want to go first? Has that been a trouble for you at all?
Yeah, I honestly have to answer, truthfully, and Cameron is the balance to my emotional. you know, like I'm the coral addict, and he's the fish guy, um, and 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 yeah, that's just that. But you have to be realistic, and just live within your means in that sense. But I if you talk to like our accountant or something, he's like, "What are you doing? This is nuts." But really, you can't put a price on um, the value of loving your life or loving your job or like loving, the happiness that you receive from helping XYZ person today succeed in reef tank if that's your passion. And people, and we we I'm sure other shop owners aren't the same, but like we're not rich. Do you know what I mean? But we're rich in experience and happiness and we feel success in other ways. It's not just a money value. And one day maybe we will, but at this point, you can't graph value like catalog value just in a dollar sign is my statement.
I don't know. I did see a certain Mr. Talbot hang around with Bob Hawke a little bit on his Facebook.
Oh,
So,
he's rubbing shoulders. He's been
oh
on
yeah,
like Cat Pizza. He's had he's had mermaid in his Shark Tank.
the man had a Shark Tank. That's his Ferrari, isn't it? Paul, what are your thoughts?
He,
What are your thoughts on the coral addict versus the coral business person?
I think it's that her passion is going to be her strength, but at the same time, I really advise get some good mentors, and you need mentors that you can just open up your balance sheet and profit and loss with, because you definitely go through phases of all different phases of your business career. And I think having really good mentors is something that has helped me invaluably. So having someone that's number one, they've got to be very rich. So try not to take much advice from people that aren't really rich, because the people that have
yeah,
got really rich know things that if other people knew, they'd probably be very rich as well. So if you
yeah,
could find yourself some really good mentors, and preferably not industry mentors, like someone that like I've got a mentor, for example, that's a older, very wealthy man that's ran a whole bunch of very big, successful businesses, and like most decisions that I make sort of go through him. So even though he's like 90 years old, well, he's 91, but he is like, and my dad would be a mentor, but having someone that you can come and sit down with and you ask them to look at your business, even things that you aren't, that you don't think are a problem. And so show them what you're doing, be really honest with your aims and just really absorb what they're saying, because there'll be the passionate you that just wants to sell everything no matter what. And then there'll be the business side of you that really needs to have a strategy behind what and why you're doing it. So I guess my advice is, if you can find yourself a really good mentor, so someone that's, number one, has to be very rich, very successful, he or she, and someone that actually cares about you. So not someone that's necessarily competition or necessarily from the industry, but just someone that you trust, that has built that's built something that sort of qualifies them to be your mentor. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Thank you. That's very good points. And I feel like I do have a lot of great people in my life who support me and who are cool first thing in the morning and absolutely help me. And even within the industry, like the amount of friendships and connections I've made, like how cool is it that I can fly to any state and knock on someone's door and Jared, I love you, and be like, guys, like I need to talk, and the door's open. Like that is an amazing thing. That's probably one of my favorite parts of this whole journey, is the connections that I've made and continue to make.
Let me
Absolutely.
just lighten the topic a little bit. How are your baby torches going in your tank?
Oh, Nick. So yeah, so love that. And on this note, I don't know if you guys have seen, I've just created a group just for captive spawn corals. I forgot what I called it, the captive spawn coral diaries, because that's a huge passion of mine. They're doing so well, and I need to do an update post of them. They're definitely banana torch. And they're probably like half the size of my fingernail now. I think I I think I've probably, from what I initially saw, I've probably still got at least like 60 to 70% of them. I know that quite a bit had spawned on different coral skeletons that I would have sold, like, and I'd let people know, like, hey, this alveo, it's got baby torch on it. But the majority of them, because I've got a light in the sump, they're actually on the media block. So I'm just leaving them there for now. And because that block's porous, I'll be able to, I'll get a scalpel or something, take them off and put them onto frag plugs and watch them grow. So that's super cool. Thank you for asking. I'll do a post. There's probably, yeah, I reckon I've got at least 30 in the system.
You know, one of
Whoa.
those little sharpened spoon pieces that the doctors use to scoop out biopsies.
Exactly. Yeah. It's exactly what I need. I'll leave them where they are for now, but then I'll go surgical on you all. I'll bring you along for that. I'll show you all.
Now there was another.
Oh, I saw Matt, Coastal Clowns. He's so funny.
Oh, have I missed it? Okay,
It was just a joke. We've got a running joke on the Submerged podcast page. Jared's done these really cool, like AI superhero generated images, and we all look really muscly in them all. But also, everyone always teases me because I'm not addicted to OxyShred. There's just a running joke. 'Cause the first thing I do at 4 a.m. is like crawl out of bed and I can't see anything. And I go for my OxyShred. And Matt was just the amount of people who think it's an aquarium product. It's not, guys. Don't put it in your tank.
Have
let
you
me-
tried to?
What was that, Ania?
Oxy shred on the gunny. You never know.
Maybe I can like bottle. Oh, look at that boy!
Oh,
I'm so proud.
hang on, what is that stuff? It's an energy drink, is it?
It's like it's an energy
Most
drink.
things, right?
It's got strawberries on it.
Yeah.
Look, strawberries.
Pre-workout.
Yeah.
Mate, that suits you. That suits you completely.
It does.
Sunday
It
night.
looks really cute.
You haven't got vodka in there as well, have you, Paul?
Not today.
Guys, Mariah, you've already started selling corals online, and I know that Ania, you sell both dry goods, coral, but not fish online and ship. And Paul, from my understanding from last week, you do dry goods shipped, but not livestock. I might have to put them to bed soon. Where do you think a local fish store now sits with the whole online world in terms of livestock, particularly coral, because it's a bit more shippable than fish? Where do you think the importance sits with a local fish store now? Has it become, Paul, like for example, has it become something that you thought, oh shit, we really might need to have to start shipping coral? Or, you know, if a local fish store doesn't do that, are they disadvantaged in any way? What do you guys think?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, the main reason why I don't ship it is because I don't have anyone passionate about shipping it. And if I had a staff member that suddenly was, let's say Mariah came to work with me or something, and she was really passionate about it, then I'd probably go into it. But if you're going to do it, you sort of have to do it well. And if you don't have anyone passionate about doing something well, particularly when a business gets to my size, the way that you end up driving your business is sort of like very much governed by your staff. And at the end of the day, you can't do everything. So you've got to just figure out, like, so for Majestic's a destination shop. So it's all about the shop and it's all about the servicing. So we're very face to face, and we do ship stuff online, but we aren't like, it's not a big focus of ours. So once again, I think if you've got the right people that have the right passion, then that's cool. But if you don't, I think it's harder to try to row upstream as opposed to go with the flow. So if that's what you're passionate about, you'll probably do it really well. But as far as other shops, once again, try not to take too much advice from other shops, because it's all about testing and measuring your shop. So just because something works or doesn't work for me, or works or doesn't work for Ania, it doesn't mean that for you. So you've just got to get to know your shop and your passion, and get together with your mentors to guide you. And you just try it. And if it's working, keep doing it. But one thing, if it's not working, just cut it. Like, don't be afraid to be wrong.
And do you think, Paul, that can change as time goes by and priorities shift?
Totally. Yeah, so it totally can change. Absolutely. So your business has to be a bit liquid, and you've got to just do what's working and go with what's working. And that's where your business goes. So I think you absolutely have to be flexible.
Okay. Mariah, how are you going? You are shipping coral, obviously. We have a very, I hate the word shipping. It sounds so American, doesn't it? Having coral delivered. How are you going with that? Like, you've got it down pat. You've got a routine.
Touch wood.
Yep.
I think I've had like 3 DOAs, and I just hit like 260 orders. So that's amazing. But exactly going on what you said, Paul, like, if I feel like I can't do something to the best of not even my abilities, but the best out of all my competition, I don't think I want to do it. I don't want to gamble with livestock, and I don't want to, say I start shipping fish, but my skill set isn't up to standard with shipping fish. I don't want to just do it for the hell of it. I want to be great at everything I do. So yeah, so when I pack coral, like heat pack or cooler pack, everything's wrapped up. Nick, thank you so much for those words. I use like frag savers. My friends 3D printed me little frag plug holders, or I use styrofoam, I use carbon, and I'll never send anything that's not 100% healthy. So like everything's healed first. If I am looking at coral the day before pack out and it doesn't look right, I'll message my customer and I'll be like, hey, like this doesn't look right. Do you want to wait a week? Do you want me to refund you? Yeah, shipping to me, freight in coral. People send me videos of the stock like an hour later and it's open in their tanks. That's been something that has been done, not with ease, with a lot of steps involved, but quite successfully, which makes me happy.
don't
Do you
want
have
to
that policy there? Yeah.
I don't want to distract you, Mariah. I'm just sort of having a squeeze through
Yeah.
your website so
Yeah,
people
yeah. No, that's okay.
go
Yeah,
shopping.
please. So I do lots of door to door. I think maybe 10% of my orders are airport to airport. I do free shipping on orders over $300. Yeah, I just take whatever precautions are needed, and the success is usually great. I guess it's the same as how we all get our corals, right?
Anya, how have you gone with your sale? You don't ship fish. Was there a specific reason why you don't do that particularly? I mean, I know I've asked you.
I don't know if I answered the same way or not, but a lot of the courier accounts, they're very anti shipping fish.
Yeah.
I just think they just don't want to be responsible for that life. And with coral, a non-sentient being, so they kind of feel like, oh, coral is a rock or coral is like a plant. So they do allow, there's a lot more leeway with shipping coral than fish. I have only experienced like 1% courier error, so I'm very fortunate. We have some amazing, couriers between us and all the people, but you just never know. And I think with fish, there's just far more risk there than with coral. I feel like, I've heard all the stories with our clientele. We've been shipping coral for 12, 13 years now. And, you can count on one hand the number of errors that have actually been, put dead coral. Like, some guy at the Blue Mountains is like ordered this giant stars and stripe pufferfish, forgot that he ordered $200 worth of gonny frags in winter, left the whole foam box with all the gonny frags outside near his wheelie bin for 5 days, and like, oh god, I forgot the gonny frags 5 days later, and they're still okay.
I thought you were
We
going to
could
tell me
work
that was a story that he said to try and get a reef. Mariah's going, yeah, that's what they're doing.
I already refunded him. Like, he's like, you didn't send the Gonny. And then 5 days later, he's like, I'm so sorry. I didn't even realize. I'm like, what? Anyway, so you just have to, we put all in with shipping, and we have a quality guarantee. And I think somewhere, half an hour ago when this topic came up, my thoughts were based on like people position themselves as an online store with a retail side hustle or a retail storefront kind of focus with an online side hustle. And I think that both supplement each other, and they're both very important to maintain. Here in Brisbane, we're fortunate to have heaps of different, very prominent reefing stores, and some really are set up for like they're just online stores that do a little bit of retail.
Yeah.
And I guess that's something that you just have to establish initially. Our company, we have a lot of staff. We're big now. We have the freshwater too. I think we've always been really like the center for dispute resolution. Like we're where you come when you have cyanobacteria if you need the advice. We're not necessarily just making money out of selling coral, we're like, and I think Mariah earlier when they were talking about what dry goods are you going to stock, I think you just need to focus on the things that you know well, and like you need these coral dips and these management products, because just naturally your passion will come out and you'll be like, oh well, you need ABCDE products to, because people, they buy the hammer, but then they're like also chat to you about a problem they're having, and I know you can help them, and you don't necessarily want to constantly be like, oh, if you just head down to store XYZ to get product, like you want, and then I think you'll organically like start to stock the things that you find you talk about a lot, like dealing with cyanobacteria or refugium lighting or whatever it is. But I think slowly but surely you'll get your showcase of dry stock according to like what the customers need. Yeah.
All right. Now, Mariah, this is a shout out. This is your chance to shout out someone, something, a resource, a product, an animal, a coral, anything in this reefing hobby / industry of ours that you think deserves a little bit of a spotlight for the evening. Would you like to give a
Oh
shout
my
out?
God. Jesus, this is stressful. See, anything?
Anything.
hmm Everyone should have a bottle of Seachem Reef iodine-based dip
Okay.
to dip their corals in. Everyone watching, love you all. Oh,
May, may I ask why you like the iodine dip over something like potassium chloride or something like that?
I don't know. I feel like the iodine puffs them up nicely the next day. You know.
All right, that works for
And
us.
potassium, great too. If I thinking of a product, everyone buy iodine-based dip. That's going to
Beautiful.
save
And that
you.
was
See, I'm helping you all out.
Mariah's shout out. Do you, Paul? This question might go for you a little bit, and I don't mean this by any means because you know I've got the respect for all of you, but historically, because I'm 50 and Paul's 3 months younger than me, back in the day there was a little bit of prejudice when it came to women in the aquarium world. What I'm wondering, and I hope and I probably think now that that's completely changed, but do you guys find, and I bring this up, Mariah, because you are clearly a young lady, a young woman, and I really hope that there is complete respect out there from customers. Do you, Paul, with your staff, or Ania with yourself, do you come across this still, or is it put to bed finally?
Well, I mean, that isn't my experience. Like, my experience is that in the early days, women were not very involved at all. Like, we didn't have a lot of female customers. And then as they started to sort of pop in, I don't really remember there being much prejudice against like them at all. I think that people were very welcoming, and at the end of the day, in the early days, I don't remember having many female customers at all, and that's been growing quite steadily. And where the prejudice comes from, I'm not too sure of. I would say that they've been very welcomed.
What I meant more so, Paul, was that you'd have, and I have seen it where you have customers that are men that might lead more towards the advice from another male as opposed to a female staff member.
Okay, well, being a male,
Well, I do have a photo of you wearing a wig playing bass, Paul, so this could possibly come out now.
yeah, so maybe I'm not too aware of that. Yeah, because
Ania,
and also
have you?
I haven't had too many female staff. I have had, but my long-standing staff tend to be male.
Yeah.
So maybe I just haven't been alert to that.
Well, the only reason for me bringing it up is that I felt like if there was something that you'd come across, it could be a point of, and I certainly hope it's not, trust me. But I felt like it could be. Your hair looks lovely, Anya, don't worry. That there could be a way of handling situations. Anya, have you come across anything to do with that? I mean, you're a coral queen of Australia.
Yeah, 120%. I have been working in this industry since 1996. So, you do the math. I very quickly had a managerial role in the aquariums that I worked at, and 100%, I'm a short girl with blonde hair, right? The stereotype is real. And I'm so used to always being like the only girl, and what typically would happen is, the customer would, the male customer would, say, hey, like, where's the manager? I need to speak to the manager. And they straight up ignore me saying hello or anything. And they go straight to like the guy, and then the guy says, well, my manager is actually this short blonde haired woman. And I found over time my approach, um, you know, I, I'm a marine biologist. I went to uni for 9 years with the science degree. That's not why I know about aquariums. I know about aquariums because I've had them since I was 4, because I've had so many different tanks, because I've worked at so many different stores, and fish farms. Like, the experience of having the degree isn't what I pull out when I need someone to trust me. I hate being like, I'm a marine biologist. That's shit. You know, what's real is I've had, you know, at one point I had a boyfriend that capped me at 30 fish tanks. That is real. You know, having those setups, being responsible for the shop tanks, and the only way I could do it is not, you know, the any other way other than give the knowledge, give the advice that is reputable, that works, and then the next time the customer comes in and is like, hey man, what you suggested really worked, and then they trust you, and then
Yeah.
slowly but surely they, you know, now that and honestly when I was in my 20s I looked really young, you know, like I'm not in my 20s anymore, but like I also had that prejudice as well. There's like this teenage girl is like, you know, meant to be advising with my $10,000 setup or whatever, but once you give the advice that it actually works for these people, they trust you, and so it's like slow and weird, but it happens eventually. And now I'm in a position, probably because I'm female, that a lot of people in our industry know who I am.
Yeah.
You know, I've got my finger in so many pockets with so many different industry related, you know, things. Um, I'm not saying that everyone knows who I am. Lots of people don't know who I am. It's not about that. But now I don't encounter that, be it 2026 that people like, yeah, the woman might know, or be it, oh, we know who Gallery Aquatica manager is. I don't know, but it's definitely stopped. It's it just like when you start speaking, people will believe you. You know, you have that sincerity behind your voice, and eventually that reigns supreme, I guess.
Has that ever been a thought to you, Mariah? You're a very confident person, anyhow, and you got that personality that shines. And I guess also proof is in the pudding, like you're saying, Ania, is that if Mariah's got all those healthy corals in her store and that
Yeah,
thriving display tank, and there's no one else there, well, then it must have been you that did it.
yeah, that's right.
Um,
Can I tell a story? Sorry, one quick
Oh,
one.
well, Mariah,
I'm going to
I think Mariah was about to say something. That was all.
no,
please,
Anya
Mariah,
can tell
say
her
something.
story. Please. I've said a lot. Anya, tell
I
your
just want
story and
to.
then I can go.
I just want to say the little story. So about 15 years ago, I really wanted to buy fishing lures for a close friend, and I know about fishing, but I don't know like the depths of fishing. So I went to BCF or, you know, one of those places, and I walked around a lot, and I was ready to drop $500 on fishing lures. Right, this was like a really important gift, and I don't know about lure fishing in cans from a kayak, right? I don't know, but I just wanted the best advice. And I walked around this BCF so much, and I was waiting for the man. I was freaking waiting for the man. But guess who served me? This woman. And she was the bee's knees at fishing lures off a kayak in Cairns. She'd lived there for 8 years. She was like fully into it. And I was like, no, I'm waiting. And I did exactly what my
You did the
customers
same thing.
said.
You and that
Exactly.
customer.
100%. And I'm like, I got $500 to spend on my lures. You know, I'm waiting for that dude. But she gave me the best service ever. I gave that BCF 5-star review, all that. And honestly, I spent my $500 with that woman, and I said thank you and all that. And it really taught me a lesson. You know, like it really did. Sorry, Mariah.
Never be sorry, ever. Honestly,
Mariah, have you
it's
been given any advice from people in your world, and you've sort of thought to yourself, "Yeah, nah, I'm not going to do that." I'm not asking specifically about what the advice is, but is it sort of have you been getting a lot of people bombarding you with what to do and how to do it and all the
uh,
rest of it?
yeah, yes and no. I wouldn't say a lot. I would say, look, I'm the type of person who I have to do something before I find out it's a bad idea. So sometimes people will try and give me good advice, and I'm still going to do the other option I find out, okay, I should have listened, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do that though, and I have a great outcome. Like when I went to look at my shop, my parents said it was a silly idea and I should not go look at the shop, and the shop's too small and it's too much of a risk. Had I listened to that advice, I wouldn't, that my life would suck. So I guess I take everything, I weigh up the pros and cons, and I make my decisions from there. I can't say I've had any bad advice, just maybe advice that doesn't agree with my personality, I guess.
Well, that's what I mean. Advice that you think, no,
Yeah.
that's not me.
Yeah. Some
Yeah.
people give advice, but they live inside a box.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
still good advice, though.
Now I am being
yeah.
cognizant of your time, Mariah, but don't worry, we've still
Sorry.
got half an hour up our sleeves. I've got some more questions.
Yeah.
But I want to pose something to the three of you that's about selling of livestock. And it's a bit of a ethical, maybe it's a philosophical side to it. But should a store ever refuse to sell a customer a living organism? Is there any reason why a store should refuse to sell to a customer an animal? What do you think?
Yeah, I
Paul?
think you should. Like, if I'm pretty clear that the person doesn't have a strategy or something workable for that particular animal, then there are times when I won't sell it. But if I think they've got a strategy or they've got an actual, that if they're educatedly trying something, then generally I'll be all for it. But if they don't, if I believe that animal is going somewhere that it's not going to belong, and the person's not equipped, then yeah, I've not sold animals lots of times.
What do you think, Mariah?
Yes. Same. I think I must say I've been in lots of situations there where people want something that's not suitable. I don't think I've ever had anyone argue with me once I educate them, except for turtle customers. Everyone wants a turtle in a bathtub. What the hell? Or in a bowl, like Christmas time would traumatize me. What is that? Oh yeah, it's not gonna grow. Like, let's put it in this. Oh my God. But
You serious?
workplace that, oh yeah,
Nothing, no,
crazy. People, yeah.
You get people
Yeah,
what
so
they
that
want
would
to come
be-
and get a hatchling turtle,
They think it won't
and they
grow.
want to put it in a vase or something.
Yeah, actually,
better.
you guys, do you need permits for, like, off topic, just quickly? Do you need permits for, like, the Murray short necks?
Yeah.
See, we don't down here.
Yeah.
So you sell them. I would try not to sell them, but anyway, offside. But
Yeah.
turtle people. But in this hobby, I feel like because there's usually a higher price tag associated with it, people are usually quite, they want to take your advice. They want to listen. I've never had someone argue it. If someone argued it, I would stand my ground. Let's just say someone wants to come and buy a clownfish for their goldfish bowl. Of course not.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess it depends. Yeah, but usually I would always say no.
And
But I've
Ania?
never been in a situation.
I think almost on a daily basis we're saying no. I kind of
Daily.
feel like I'm the fish Nazi, and it's really frustrating sometimes, because you're like, no, Antheus need a school. No, tanks need 120 liters per tank. No, I'm so sorry. The Dragonet requires an older aquarium, and it's really frustrating because a lot of newbies have a smaller setup, and it's you're very limited to how much livestock can go in a small tank. And I try to gear people towards coral, like you come for the fish, but you stay for the coral is my line. But someone with 100-liter tank they really want a lot of fish, but really they could probably have a pair of clownfish, a little blenny, and maybe a coral goby and maybe a Johnny back or something. It is really hard, and I think ultimately that person will 100% go to the next shop and buy that blue tank for that 90-liter tank. They do it, and it's really hard because we want to pay bills. We need to be a business and behave as a business, but at the end of the day, when that blue tank gets white spot or dies, they think back to that difficult lady at the fish shop that said it's not appropriate, and they're like, yeah, she was probably right.
It's
That's
interesting, everyone's different opinion on this. So I asked a similar question to Finn from Atlas, and Finn said what you said. They'll go down the road to Pet Barn and buy it anyway, and that he would prefer that he buy it from them, and he can at least try to provide some guidance if they remain under his umbrella, so to speak. But I also present to you the thought that when someone shops online, be it for a fish or a coral, it's a transaction that doesn't require communication. And so in that sense, it's gone out the door to you do not know where. And the other thing I'd pose is that even like corals going online, or coral, I guess, would fly under the radar a lot more than a fish, for example, that blue tang you're talking about. But should it be? Is there a difference ethically or philosophically between the yes or no, you can't buy this coral versus buying this fish? Is there a difference? I mean, we eat fish all the time. Is there a difference? Does it matter?
Yeah, I use the term non-sentient being a lot in that kind of realm. Like, I think that there is a difference. You know, that fish.
I do too, but I'm just asking you.
Around an expansive amount of space, and being put in a 30-liter tank or something is just simply cruel.
Yeah.
It's really hard. It's really hard. I don't like being a negative Nancy on people trying to enter the hobby and just have a nice tank, but at some point you have to be like, these are wild animals, and we all have to carry some kind of responsibility there.
Do you think that it varies if they are captive bred animals?
I do.
Compared to wild? Like, is that captive bred guppy or molly that someone puts in their frag tank to eat algae? Is that more,
I think it's more ethical. I do think it's more ethical. It doesn't know. It's never been out there.
Paul, what are your thoughts, mate? What are you going to say?
Well, I think I've got lost on the question, but in reference to corals versus fish, I would reference like my own reaction. Like, for example, if I lose a coral, I'm more frustrated or angry, and the financial part is probably also a frustration, especially if it's an expensive one. But then when the fish dies, you're sad. So I think that for me, I'll get a different reaction. Like, so if I lose a fish, I'm sad as if I'm losing a friend, or I'm losing it's sad. Whereas I don't feel that for coral. I probably feel more frustrated or angry or resentful of what maybe killed it. But I think the feeling that I get when I lose a coral versus a fish is different. I think I'm more sad with fish.
Yeah. And I bring this topic up, Mariah, because in customer service, slightly off topic, but like, I trained as a vet a long time ago. I only worked for 18 months. And the reason why I stopped doing it is because I didn't like customer service. So you're going into a business which is about coral, but ultimately it's customer service. And so we're talking about having to deal with the emotions and the ups and downs of the customer, and weigh in where we sit with that. I wrote down something earlier on, which I'll just read. And it's where does the line between educating customers and policing their choices sit? You know what I mean? So where there's a line there, and it's probably different for everybody, between I'm going to educate them, not sell this fish, or I'm going to, well, I can't do any more than I'm doing, so they're on their own. There's a line there, and everyone's different, probably a little bit.
Yeah, I see that. I think you want everyone to have the best experience, right? So let's just say, using your example, Ania, with the blue tank, someone comes in for a giant fish. You want to educate first of all, and if they still want to make that decision, I would literally say, it's not going to end well. It's not going to end well with the fish, but I also don't want that customer to have that poor experience, because then they're going to have negative experience, and they're not going to be as passionate about the hobby. So that's something that I would take into account, of course. I know in the past, and I don't know if this is necessarily the right thing to do, but if someone really wanted something, let's just say like the 200 litre tank, and someone wants your little blue tank, and they're really set on it, like they got this tank just for this fish. Something I would have done is you can buy the fish, but when it gets bigger, come borrow my fish trap and bring it back. I can swap you a smaller one or something. So it's keeping people in the hobby. I wouldn't say that fish is having a bad life, because then it's going to move on to a bigger tank. It's going to come back. You can rehouse it. But that's a little bit different to like a dragonet in a brand new tank, though.
Is there any
That's going to start.
that was something I was about to say to you guys. Do you think that when you make a display in your store, that it's really important to have that display containing animals that suit the tank, like in terms of activity or size? So in other words, you're not putting out ideas or inspiration to people that's not long-term suitable, like putting a blue tank in a 3-foot tank or whatever it might be. Do you think there's concerns though, Mariah, that if you do that that merry-go-round of blue tanks, that you potentially will have issues with hygiene, or parasites might come back to you, or what are you going to do with that blue tank? You're going to put it out the back and treat it, or keep it separate? Yeah.
I found, in all honesty, by the time the tank got big, they were attached to it and they upgrade their tank. Otherwise, it was always on like a donation basis, so that I can take that fish and then I can quarantine it, and it might sit with me for 6 weeks out the back, and then you rehome it. These days, people just even pop on the classifieds page. This fish is too big. Does anyone want to give it a good home? And it's more of like a local community thing. Of course, every situation depends, right? And it's not something I'd recommend. But
Yeah.
if it's in the case of they want that fish, and like you said, they're going to go online, or they're going to go to the next shop, or they're going to ask their wife to come in and make up a different story just so they can have it. I just want them to know that option is there.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Is there something that you guys do, Paul and Ania?
Yeah, we accept fish as donations, and then we put them into like what I'm really against cross-contaminating systems. So like we've got you have an import system, you have a local system, and you try to keep the suppliers per system. So if something goes wrong, you've got a little bit of accountability at least. And then when we get trade-ins, because we don't really do trade-ins with marines, we just do donations. So then we just put it in a separate system that's not with our selling fish, and then we'll either sell it out of there, or once it's been there for long enough, we might introduce it back in. But yeah, we accept donation fish, absolutely.
Ania?
I think it's important to take that responsibility and be a front for a place where people can bring back poor choices. And that actually, earlier when you mentioned why don't we ship fish, that in reality, that's one of the number one reasons, because I think purchasing a fish, we need to chat with the person, customize their decision, based on our advice. The convict tank's going to become a psychopath or whatever. You can't just like click. I don't think it's responsible to click and be like, yeah, clown tang. They're psycho. There's a level of aggression, or this fish requires a schooling, or this anthias requires multiple feeds per day. Are you a person that your leopard wrasse pair, are they going to be in bed by the time you get home every day, because they're from Queensland and they go to bed at 4 p.m. and they need a feed, or whatever. I think that ultimately the ethics has really clouded our decision to have those online fish. But the business aspect of CAN is like, put fish online, put them online. But I don't like the idea of just willing out fish. No, go to your LFS, support your LFS, because without the LFS, the industry is dead.
One thing, Mariah, I'll ask you is that you mentioned before that you said that most of the people around that you've met in Adelaide tend to have smaller tanks. And you were showing your fish holding tanks there, which were on the smaller side. That's where you said it. And I'm interested, and I really think the idea is fantastic, is that to know your customer, know their average tank size, and then really only sell fish or stock fish that suit those tanks? Is that something that's feasible? Like if you know that your maximum size is a 4-foot tank in your region, they're mostly sitting around 2 foots and nanos, have all the gobies, dragonettes, dartfish, small wrasse, ignore the Nasso tangs and ignore the triggers and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I believe so. That's actually maybe the angel on my shoulder too, from a business point of view. I don't see also ethics too, right? Like the larger fish that I get in as juveniles, if they don't sell, what am I going to necessarily do with them to give them a good quality of life? But yeah, catering to my market. And I think each day is like I grow my business. That's all I'm doing. I'm just catering to the market. I'm not necessarily always doing what I want to do. I'm doing what my customers want in any way possible. But yeah, like Adelaide definitely has a standard tank size of like 4 foot. I don't necessarily know why. It's not like we're all stuck in apartments. Maybe it's like a money thing. There's definitely some gorgeous big tanks, so I'm not saying that there's not. But yeah, and then like custom orders too. Like if a customer knows that I'm a reliable place to buy fish from and they come to me and say, I want a medium-sized blonde naso, okay, I'll look at that out for you. It will be in 2 weeks. I can quarantine it for you, and then you can pick it up. More of like a to-order thing. So I always have like wish lists and stuff, which I've always done anyway. But yeah, definitely dedicate like my systems to what customers want. Customers
Yeah.
have room for.
Beautiful. I love that. Love that. The boys' home. Hey, Tom. Sorry, family.
Hi, Tom.
Okay. Hi, Tom. Now it's time for
I'm dealing with much smaller goldfish.
quick dips. Mariah,
You're scaring me with these. Yes. Hi.
these are basically simple questions with basically a one-word answer. What one piece of filtration your tank will always run?
A skimmer.
LPS.
Yep. Okay. Yep.
There's one answer. LPS or SPS?
LPS.
LPS or softy?
LPS.
Gonny or hammer?
Gonny.
Gonny or Charles?
Gonny.
Gonny or torch?
Gonny. Pick a different coral.
Gonny or scully?
Oh, that's close, but Gonny. Sorry. Oh, yeah.
And the winner is
Gonny.
Gonny. One emotion that you want every customer to leave your store feeling.
Passionate.
Which gives you more dopamine? A great gym session or buying and bringing home a new coral?
It's close, but I like to buy my coral. Sorry, guys.
I thought you'd say that. Excellent.
Close. That's
I'm dealing with
close.
much smaller goldfish.
And that was quick tips. Now, where am I? Where am I amongst all this? Questions. Okay, here we go. I'll just go through the chat quickly and make sure I'm not missing any questions.
Yeah, I
in
was
the
just doing
chat.
that too. Look at everyone. Hi, guys.
There's a lot of talking in the chat tonight, but not so much questions. If anybody's got questions they want to ask Mariah, but also Ania and Paul, then make sure you pop them into the chat because we are finishing
I'll
up
keep an eye.
sensibly tonight, everybody.
Sorry. How much longer did we? I don't want to put too much rules. It's your thing, but how much more? So, guys, post your questions. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, well, I think I've got you for about another 10 minutes max. Yeah, that's okay.
No, it's okay.
Oh.
Keep going. I'm having too much fun. I see Nick. Nick, do you have a secret for your success with Gonny? It's something that I can't pinpoint, if I'm honest. I almost hope, I don't say hope, but no, I hope one day I have a tank that has trouble with them so I can troubleshoot that and then tell you guys. I think it's just a huge like some people I see smash them with flow and they get annoyed. Some people don't dip them when they need to be dipped. Some people don't feed them. Some people's KH goes like this. Some people's phosphates are high. I think it's just a whole group of things. Some
All right,
people
well,
just want new tanks.
let me ask you some questions about Gonnies. If you were to say what is the ideal phosphate in your experience to keep Gonnies happy, what would you say?
I'm a bit, I don't say, I don't know what I'm saying here. It's good to have a little bit dirtier water, so like 0.1.
Well, which is still
Yeah.
which is still not, up
Some
there. It's
people
still
say, oh, they're over 0.05. No, 0.1, fine.
okay. And feeding
But
regime.
flow.
What's your
Feeding
favourite body
regime.
food?
Oh, do you know what? I've been trialing lots of different things lately and I haven't seen a change. I do reef roids, I do aquaculture kings. Can't even think of the name for it now. I got some stuff. It came from Addicted to Fish. I forgot. As long as it's fine and they can consume it, fine. And I do amino acids too. And I feed my fish a lot. A
So it needs
mix,
to be
lots of
fine.
yes, so that they can consume it. And you see their tentacles bobbing up and down as they consume it. It's not a huge, like dramatic feeding. I guess you just kind of sprinkle it and you leave your flow off. I believe you should leave your flow off because you see their tentacles. Tidal Gardens, guys, has a really good video, Goniopora feeding. It's very important. But then it's like, it's a balancing thing too, I guess. You don't want to overfeed and create nutrient problems.
Okay.
I
And
feed, if I feed once a week, I'm lucky.
oh,
Honestly.
okay. All right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and in terms of flow, I've seen some gonnies that are out there going crazy in the wind, like some people keep their torches, and I've seen the opposite. Where do you like to sit with that?
Indirect flow. So
Indirect.
medium. I don't like to see the skeleton. Like, you know how sometimes you blast them, like crazy torch flow vibe, and you can see not the skeleton, but the base of the coral. I think that's a bit too much. But some people do that and it works out great. So
Funnily enough,
I just feel like, yeah.
there's a local spot to me up just up the coast, and you
Yeah.
kayak out to a island. What a spaz! You kayak out to this island, and in the middle of the island, there's a big lagoon, a rock pool. It's full of coral, and there's this wall of gonny, huge wall of gonny just hanging. The first time I went there, it's always low tide, and the gonny's just hanging like a curtain, just hanging there.
Wow.
And as the water comes in, this is like almost out of the water, sunlight beating on it. And then as the high tide comes in, the waves crash over the top, just crashing waves. Like, it's
Crazy.
crazy. It just goes to show a lot of
Yeah.
a lot of what you think just doesn't translate to the nature. I don't get it.
Yeah, I agree.
She said 0.1, not 0.01. There you go, from Jared.
Thanks, Jared.
But
Can
what's
I?
the nitrate? What's the nitrate?
Oh yeah.
At
What's
I aim for
What's the nitrate?
nitrate. I aim for 10, but I have
Yeah,
trouble with my
makes sense.
nitrates. They always sit low, and that annoys things. I noticed too. Actually, if my nitrates are low, I see them not as happy, and
Me
I
too.
dose manganese daily.
All right. We have some questions coming in now.
Okay, let's go. What's next?
Okay, well, we've answered that one about the Goniopora. We've got one for Ania from Jared. Any updates on Fragorama?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Give me the month at least. Come on, I'm a business owner now. I've got to make time.
I think I didn't want to like officially, do an announcement on Adam's channel, but I think
By
we
all
have to be
means.
realistic. We have to be realistic, and we said that we would consider Fragorama and all the organization once we have our grand opening, and we haven't had a grand opening yet, which was meant to be in July. So I think that gives us a realistic indication that we're probably not going to do Fragorama this year.
No.
I think about 100% chance we're not going to do it this year. But maybe March, maybe July. The venue, the new venue that we have found is amazing. That we can't do it in the previous venue because they have a restaurant there permanently. So even if we wanted to, we couldn't go to the Bowls Club again. And the new venue was amazing, but it's 30 grand up front. We can't do that, so we have to find something in between. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to, reinstate meetings and probably swap around some committee members after the grand opening, and we'll ask people to come forward and be part of the committee, and the committee votes on everything. So it's not about what I want or what Cam wants or anything, even though financially Gallery Aquatica kind of supports the whole thing at this point. But we want Fragorama to continue. We're just looking for 2027, I guess. And it's going to be a thing. Whether it's March, April, June, July, it kind of matters more about availability of venues. But we're probably somewhere in the middle, where like that 30 grand place is amazing and it's perfect and it's amazing, but that's our goal. And then we just got to find something there, and then we'll aim for there next time.
But I think what we all wanted to hear was that the idea of Fragorama's not died.
Oh, absolutely not. We just needed this year to
Yeah. Oh, you've had a lot going on.
Yeah,
You've had so much.
we started the shop. It costs a lot. It's all about the money, and we just don't have it, and that's the reality, really.
Yeah. Mariah, is there any South Australia specialty? Oh, I'd love to ask about this, but I'm assuming we're talking about cold climate stuff here. Is there any South Australia specialty livestock you'd love to stock? Something that's unique to South Australia or hard to get elsewhere? Cowfish.
Love that.
Do you know, I'm not a fisher person. I don't know much about what's in our waters. And that sounds, my dad would be so mortified. But there was a customer once who was like, let me come in and catch you stuff. And I was like, huh? And he's like, yeah, I can get cowfish, I can get this, that, and the other. And I just I said no.
Yeah, just be careful about the legalities of that.
Yeah, and all of that too. Off the top of my head, as bad as this sounds, it's not something I've ever really looked into. Something I should maybe look into. Like we've got all the not we could legalities, but we've got gorgeous leafy sea dragons, but you couldn't put that in a tank. But there is lots of beautiful stuff in our waters. It's just something I haven't really looked into. I'm a bit. I love all aspects of the hobby, but my favorite part of it is when things glow. So, and also going back to you, Ania, with Fragorama, just remember it's not the space, it's the people who fill it. You don't have to do anything
So true.
fancy. Like we're all there. It's
Yeah.
just
I think that's the thing. We found this space and it's perfect. 1,000 people. We had 680 people last year, and so we know we have a figure there, and it's a concrete floor, so they don't care about salt water, and comes with a bar and 3 stages, and it's just perfect. And it's right next to the Brisbane airport. It's right next to Eat Street, which is amazing.
cool.
It's just we're just not there
But say
yet.
say the Bowls Club. I've been
Yeah,
in there
something like
twice. All my laptop's going flat. But I don't even remember what it looks like because I'm not looking
I know.
around.
And I think we're going to reinvigorate the Fragorama committee as soon as we've done our grand opening. We've had so many setbacks with this store and setting it up. We haven't been able to commit any more effort, time, or love into anything else. It's been rough, but we're coming over that hump now, which is awesome.
Yeah, Mariah, do you need to plug the laptop in?
No, it's all right. It's okay.
All right.
I still got another. It's all right.
I'm not sure if this question who it's for. It's a bit random. What do you think of Jabal wave makers and pumps?
I've got a customer who loves them, but I don't know much about them. But he says great things.
Anybody else? No? All righto.
Power.
Ding Dong asks, Mariah, with that home tank that was more coral than water, surely that was crazy dosing and maintenance.
Oh, it still is. It's still more coral than water, and it was consuming more than a big 1,000-litre display at the fish shop I was working at. As for maintenance, and still to this day, water changes are so important. I am a big advocate of matching the parameters of your water and doing big changes and just keeping your nutrients in check. I truly think that that saved me a lot. Inspiration, guys. Look, it's like OnlyFans. I don't know. It came to me. It's meant to look like what it does look like. And then the slogan "Wanna frag." I don't know. It just popped into my head one day and it stuck. And it's so cool now. People drive past, they see it on the sign. They're like, "What the hell is that?" And like one of the guys from a gym next door to my shop wanted a t-shirt, and he came up to me. He's like, "What does "Wanna frag" mean?" It's like, "Do you want to frag?" Like the corals, they're called frag. He's like, "Oh."
There's a quick thing, a comment, I guess. Why do you say
Yeah.
that gone is like dirty water if your phosphate is quite low, being
Oh,
zero?
I think I think Jared had me. I think they thought I said 0.01. 0.1 is sometimes considered like higher.
Jeez.
Maybe it's
It
not
is
really
high.
dirty, but yeah,
It's
right. It is. Is that what you say? It's high.
0.01, 0.03 is the SPS goal. So we're talking about 10 times higher is what Mariah's recommending for Gonny.
Yeah.
You know, that's 10 times higher. That's high.
Yeah, see,
Yep.
but then my SPS go
I
great
agree with that
too
though.
in it.
I think they need nutrients.
It's
Yeah.
really odd though, isn't it? Because you'll hear of famous Mike Paulettas and Sanjay Joshis and stuff like that running phosphates at 0.4 or 0.9. And it's like hot, crazy stuff. But I can
Sometimes
only
doesn't have Gonny. He doesn't have Gonny. It's not nice.
No, they're tank. They're tank. They're tank. I don't mean the Gonnies particularly, especially. I just meant they're tank in general. Hello. Question here. Best tank size for beginners. I think it's come from a while back. I must have missed it. So Senor Ding Dong has reminded us. What's your thoughts, Mariah?
Um, I would say these days people are doing smaller tanks quite successfully, but I would always say like the biggest tank you can fit within means. I think 4 foots are great, 3 foots. It's always like if you have like a drop of food dye and you drop it into a little glass, it's going to taint the water. So think of the food dye as like your parameters or ammonia or whatever, but in a bigger volume of water, it's easier to balance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in smaller tanks, balancing the tank can be a bit trickier. If you have room for a 4 foot, I think they're a great size. Maybe that's why Adelaide's full of them because I keep saying that. But
Do you think that do you guys think that mentality's changed a bit with the with smaller tanks and the ability to get access to local seawater and do decent water changes?
Yeah.
So maybe
What's your
through
seawater
Europe.
situation? Can you use seawater?
I don't like it. I think you guys are all crazy with how much seawater
I
you
think you're
guys use. Although
crazy.
the
What do you
so
think it's salt for, girl?
we had sardi. Okay, because do you know how I think of it? What's in our water? Blue crabs and cowfish.
Okay.
Like, do you know what I mean? And
Okay.
they say it's filtered, and they say, but I have never. There are a few customers who do it and they do it well, but I used to see a lot of people who would use we call it sardine, that's just who collects it. They would use that water and they would always have issues and they would change
Yeah.
and all the issues would go away. And then we've got the terrible algae bloom. So Sardi stopped collecting for a while. Lots of those places who were doing salt, natural seawater went to artificial. I don't
Gotcha.
think we're spoiled with the good stuff like you guys are, essentially. If I was in Queensland or Sydney or somewhere that had good stuff, it would
Yeah.
be different. Just location.
Yeah. Makes sense.
There was a bit of a touch on trace elements in the chat, but then it kind of got put to bed, I guess, with manganese over here. Someone's brought up manganese. They must have been chatting to themselves. You got any comments on that at all, guys, for Gonnies?
Ania, you probably know more about that than I do.
Oh,
I do
I suppose
ICPs, guys.
if our
Hey?
gonnies are not extended, I add manganese on the daily, and we ICP test so often. You know, it's almost always zero, which means if we're putting it in, it's being uptaken. If the level is zero on the test, so I really think people can need to push their manganese levels and visually observe. You know, if they're going to crap, I think the polyp extension will definitely improve with manganese dosing. But there's more. There's iron. There's alkalinity stability. I think there's a magnesium to calcium ratio that LPS kind of thrive on. So there's a few more elements there, light and flow. You know, but But definitely manganese dosing is like a trick for sure.
Okay. There was an interesting observation here from OS M7. I'll put it on the screen for you guys to read.
I need giving the side eyes to Mariah. Oh my goodness, that's horrible. Don't even.
That is
I think they're
disgusting.
just having some
We'll
fun.
hang up
Don't
on
worry.
you.
Don't worry. All right, now,
I love you, Ania.
ladies and
Mariah,
gentlemen,
don't even.
Paul and
What a
Ania,
horrible.
if you could give Mariah just one.
Ben, put the post at the minute timer. I want to see the side eye. I'm checking my vodka, mate. Like, it's empty. Side
Ania,
eye.
do
It's
you
a
want to give a
vodka eye.
recommendation about what sort of manganese to dose at all before I keep going?
I do like the Coral Essentials manganese.
Right.
Yep.
East
One.
Coast corals.
I've never tried it.
Coast
I've never
Coral?
tried it. I've never tried it.
Beautiful. All right.
As for
Paul?
dosage, I do it like a salt shaker. But anyway, don't do as I do. Do as I say. So read the label and ICP.
Right. You're the just chuck it in and hope for the best and send an ICP
It's the
away.
it's the Greek in me.
No more side eye.
No, you go, but you need more. Paul and Ania, if you could give Mariah just one piece of advice tonight that she must stick with for the next 5 years, what would that one piece of advice be each? Who wants to go first? Let's get first. Being very quiet, and Ania's still thinking.
So in reference to that, my first thing is don't try to please everyone. And that you'll find, in my experience, that everyone knows that you get 80% of your business from the top 20% of your customers. So you put all of your effort into your top customers. But the thing that nobody talks about, and this is something that I think I came up with, and if not, I'll just say I did, is that 80% of all your problems and 80% of all your troubles and stress come from the bottom 20% of your customers. So don't be afraid to kick them out. So if you get a customer that comes in your shop and you find that you want to go and hide behind a stand as soon as you see them, if you get anyone that kills your vibe, then what I do is you walk up to them and you very politely say, hey, look, I don't think you should shop here anymore. I don't think you respect our prices. I don't think you respect our service. And I think that you should really go somewhere else and don't come back here anymore. And then they freak out and they think they're getting broken up by their first girlfriend or something. And they'll say something like, oh man, but I love this shop, blah, blah, blah. And you go, well, you don't seem like you do. You just seem to complain all the time. So don't be afraid to kick people out. That's what I'd say.
Wow.
And also,
That's true though.
Yeah.
The only people who've ever given me grief are the people who haven't supported me, or I've never spoken to before, or it's not about costs, right, or money or buying, but people who have never purchased. That's a very good point. Thank you. Ania,
once
what's
you've
your
run a
wise
retail shop
words?
for a while, that might change.
Ania, she needs to stick with it for 5 years. This needs to be very, very poignant. Is that the right word?
And you can't like give me bad advice in the side eye, all right? It has to be good.
She wouldn't do that.
I think the level of genuine passion is what shines through with Mariah and what you're providing. And I think you need to just keep on moving with that, like everyone, it's infectious, and just like everyone invested in this industry wants it to grow. And that should be what they want. They want growth. And, someone coming in off the street and seeing your amazing displays and seeing your infectious energy is what's going to help this industry grow. It's going to sort of change someone from having a platy tank to having a clownfish tank. And they can have their freshwater tank, but let's just get a saltwater setup in there, and I think ultimately, if you're happy, if you can go to sleep every night knowing that you've done your best and you've just given it your all, you need to be able to switch off as well, because I didn't until I had kids. Like I just kept replying to people up till midnight, 2 a.m. People expect all the things, but once I had the kids, I realized, you know what, if you don't reply, it's not the end of the world. And that is something that took years for me to understand, because I have such bad anxiety, right? And, I was like, I need to answer all the things. No, you don't. You are valuable. Your time is valuable. Your information and knowledge and passion is valuable, and you don't need to waste it on those 20%, like Paul mentioned. And that's absolutely right.
So it
You're so
sounds like what
cute.
you're saying is for
Making me
Mariah to
blush.
take care of herself.
Yeah,
No,
absolutely.
that is something I'm learning. And like today, like I was out all day and I like, went for a walk on the beach, and it resets you, and then you can put more into it, right?
You
Absolutely.
cannot pour from an empty cup, as they say,
Yep.
right?
Or an empty
Yeah.
KH bottle.
I like it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to just do this.
White milk. White.
So, Mariah, normally a previous guest will have left a question not knowing who you are. But I've decided to take this question over for myself and basically leave my question. So, Mariah, you're about to step into the world of retail. Paul, you're a veteran of over 30 years. And Ania, you've basically, along with your husband, built an extremely recognisable brand Australia-wide, that is Gallery Aquatica. So I guess I would ask this question to each of you. What is it that is keeping you the most excited in the marine industry / hobby right now? What is it that's driving you to keep on going? Paul.
Well, I mean, I love it basically, and I've always loved it. And then there's been various times in my life when I haven't had work-life balance, and that is the biggest issue. But really, I love everything about fish and coral. So, and the other thing is too is I'm not really good at anything else. So like, it's not like I've got a backup plan. So I've basically been into this since. Yeah, but how much money have I made playing guitar? Like, I've made zero money playing guitar. But no, there's no, I just love what keeps me in it. I love helping people. Like I love going to someone's house. Well, actually, working in the shop all day sometimes does my head in, because it's like one big day after another big day after another big day, and then at the end of the day, I don't even know what I did. Whereas one thing I find very fulfilling is someone gets me to come to their house and they're having all these problems, and then I give them a systematic way of fixing their problems. Then I'll come back and see it all turn around, and that gives me so much pride. And then when that person spent $50,000 or $100,000 on their tank or whatever, and they've been watching that go down the drain, and for you to guide them back to flourishing is something that I guess my ego just can't get enough of.
Lovely.
Love that.
Ania, what keeps you excited and passionate about the marine hobby right now?
I think just that constantly learning things. There's always something to learn. And even as someone that's been in this industry since 1996, there's just, nothing surprises me anymore. You just never know what you're going to hear, what you're going to learn. It's whether it's anecdotal or some new research being published or a new amazing color of, some chimera coral being collected locally, or something new being discovered. I feel like it's just constantly something fascinating, something worth devoting your brain to and appreciating. And I think that it's never a dull moment. It's literally never dull, and that's probably what drives me.
Excellent. Thank you, Ania. And Mariah, because this is about you, we're going to leave the final response to you before the night
Bless
closes.
you. I was
What
going
are
to
you?
say,
What
because
are you like? What are you going yes about at the moment?
everything, but I've got 3 more minutes on my laptop battery. I'm so sorry. I don't
That's
have a
right, because
charger.
this was the last question.
All right, so everything, okay?
That's all.
Exactly what you said, Ania. You always see new coral. Like, how cool is it that every week these beautiful
Right?
collectors getting new coral that you've never seen, and you have to
What
have
a
it?
game.
I know. Like, don't we get all the anyway, and now all these captive spawn corals, and it's like a chimera master and something else. Oh my god. The people, like, I love how once a week someone new messages me and I meet someone new and they're like, oh my god, look at this new coral I brought. The relationships, the friendships.
And
Like
I
I said,
saw a
how cool
post
is
that
it?
you did. You put a post up that was just, hey, if you want to chat, just contact me.
Yeah, of
I love that.
course.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's such a cool part of it. The learning too. Like I'm always learning new things to bring into my tank. At the moment, the shop, like how cool is it? Like I was driving home from work the other day, that office job. I was like, you know what? Soon I'm gonna be going to this shop and the wall's gonna be pink and there's gonna be a 2.5 meter display tank in there and my friends are gonna come visit me. Like, how cool is that? Oh my God, I'm so excited.
Guys, this is fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on tonight.
Thank
Mariah,
you.
when do you think that your
Thank
shop
you.
will be open to the public?
Right. So, and also, guys, because my laptop's going flat, if you post comments in the comment section, oh my God, I'll go through and I'll reply to them for the questions.
Yep.
So the 7th of September, my tanks are landing in the port. That's terrifying. And I say that because this is a part of my business that I can't do myself now. But I've got so many gorgeous people who are going to be helping me. So once those tanks are in and everything's running, I've got a lot of media that's already been seeded. Essentially, once those tanks are operational, I'll be opening to Adelaide. And then I've got my shelving that's going to be built by my gorgeous friend Jono. So get busy. Once all that's done, I'll be opening to Adelaide. And then when the other half of my tanks are in, then I'll have like a grand opening. I'm hoping I initially said October grand opening, but I don't want to open up the shop if it's not all ready because
Sure.
you know, if people are going to come down from interstate, I want everything to be there. I'm hoping maybe like a December, I would assume the rest of the tanks would be in.
Before your battery dies, where can people contact you for more information about the progress and about corals and buying
Yeah,
purchases and all that?
guys. Oh, bless you, Adam. Thank you. So my website, www.onlyreefs.com.au, Instagram, Only Reefs Aquatics, Facebook, Only Reefs Aquatics. But then this is going to be posted on YouTube, right? So I've got a YouTube channel. I reply to all the comments in your comment section, of course.
All right, guys. Thanks, Mariah. And thank you, Ania, and thank you,
you.
Paul. Thank you very much. Now, stick
Thank
with
you,
us, guys.
everyone.
For everybody out there, thank you very much for joining us tonight. And if you're in Adelaide, look forward to the brand new reefing store coming to you. And also, if you're into some amazing coral, feel free to go and browse onlyreefs.com.au. Next week, we're starting a month of marine pretty much because next week we've got Lyle Squire coming on from Cairns Marine, followed up by Shane Danger the week after that. Then we've got Alex Correa from all the way from Waikiki Aquarium in, ex-Waikiki over in Hawaii. And then finishing up the month with Scott Fellman. So it's a pretty big month, this one. I'm going to get pretty drunk and pretty tired. Hopefully not. But we'll see you all again next Sunday on Aquariums Anonymous. Thank you very much. Good night, guys. Stay there for a sec. And good night, everybody out there.
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.